I'm Janette Hughes, and I'm a professor at the Mitch and Leslie Frazer Faculty of Education. I'm also a Canada Research Chair in Technology and Pedagogy, and I'm the director of the STEAM 3D Maker Lab, as well as the director of our new Center for Research and Digital Innovation in Education. My overarching area of research is in critical digital literacies, and they include a set of skills that enable us to use and to understand, as well as to create digital media and tools. The goal of critical digital literacies is to engage people, users, in creative digital environments. And one of the ways that we've experimented or explored the development of these skills is through making, maker spaces, and maker pedagogies. In the STEAM 3D Maker Lab, we have a number of different technologies that help students develop their global competencies in general, their critical thinking skills, and their creativity. We have 3D printing, digital scanning, e-textiles, programmable robots, coding equipment. We have circuit building equipment like Arduino, Makey, Papertronics, and lily pads for sewing projects. And we also experiment with virtual and augmented reality and extended reality, video green screen production, as well as the Internet of Things. And most recently, we've been exploring artificial intelligence in education. And I'll speak a bit more about that in a few minutes. Maker pedagogies are play-based, they're inquiry-based, they focus on project and problem-based learning. They also draw heavily on design thinking, and they're collaborative as well as passion-based. All of these elements have been explored in our research and were compiled into a recent book called Making Makers and Makerspaces. This was a research project that we did with 20 different school districts in Ontario. We looked at the impact of making on the development of global competencies and mental wellness, as well as how to approach assessment in makerspaces. We also looked at how we can make making more accessible to all students. We are also really interested in how making can empower student autonomy and agency. We explored how Indigenous making might be undertaken using Indigenous ways of knowing. And we, through all of this, are really conscious of ensuring that there is equity and inclusion in the makerspace. In the second term of my CRC, I've been looking at how we might help students develop global competencies through digital technologies. And as part of that work, I've partnered with the OECD on a project that explores how to foster critical thinking and creativity, in particular in pre-service teacher education. I also was involved in a Horizon EU project that explored the development of global democratic citizenship in a digital context. A lot of this work involves examining how students engage with critical issues related to diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility, and particularly in the context of social media. As part of the work that I'm doing with the Center for Digital Innovation in Education, I'm keenly interested in the social and ethical implications of AI, particularly for racialized women. I've been working with some colleagues to develop an interactive rubric that educators can use with their own students to help them develop AI literacy. So this focuses on things like who owns the data, privacy, moral and distributed responsibility, and algorithmic biases. We only have to look at the 2024 presidential election in the US to realize how important these issues really are. In the Center for Digital Innovation in Education, researchers focus on 4 distinct areas: technological innovations, pedagogical innovations, structural innovations, and teaching for innovation. In terms of pedagogical innovation, we're interested in exploring different ways of approaching teaching and learning, from inquiry, play, discovery, to making and coding. We're interested in experiential and project and problem-based learning and design thinking. In terms of structural innovation, some of our team are looking at things like high-flex learning or blended and hybrid learning, living labs, new learning management systems. And in terms of technological innovation, we're exploring artificial intelligence, augmented virtual reality and extended realities, biometrics, and looking at smart devices as they emerge. In terms of teaching for innovation, we're really interested in developing innovation skills and mindsets for kindergarten right through the lifespan, and in particular in initial teacher education. So we'll be creating modules and online resources that focus on some of the kinds of technological, structural, and pedagogical innovations that we've been doing research on. I've also been engaged in a project called Education 2050, and this is a partnership between 8 different universities with researchers from each institution, also industry partners, community partners, and school districts. And we're interested in exploring and cultivating futures literacy among educators to navigate the current polycrisis. And a polycrisis is a period that's marked by simultaneous political, social, economic, and technological disruption. Futures literacies are really important right now, and they enable students to envision different possibilities for a different future, a probable, preferable, and reframed futures that help us foster an appreciation for change and empower individuals to be both more creative and innovative. And this is particularly important right now because today, our youth are experiencing greater levels of uncertainty, discomfort, anxiety, fear, even despair than ever before due to things like climate change, failure, extreme weather events, geopolitical tensions, political polarization, often fueled by social media, economic instability, housing insecurity, and all of the mental health deterioration that come along with those issues. To identify criteria and supports for futures literacy skill development, to design and evaluate inclusive and interdisciplinary learning programs, and then to study the impact of this kind of disruptive pedagogical, structural, and technological innovation on initial teacher education. My name is Dr. Janette Hughes, and you can reach me a number of different ways. You can contact me via email, or you can reach me on LinkedIn. You can also find out more about my research through ResearchGate, where many of my articles are available, or on my research website.